What's up, everybody? Welcome to Barber Chain Live Podcast. Tonight, we appreciate everybody who will tune in, who be watching this. Tonight, we got Ace Fader in the building. Ace Fader
Yes,
all the
sir.
way from the RVA DMV area, man. My bro, Barber bro, from the same breed on the cool cutter. Man, welcome, bro.
What's up with you, man? Happy to be here. I appreciate you having me.
And I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. On tonight, man, we're gonna have a good talk, barber talk, you know, with the Hungry Barber. I love that name. So we're gonna talk about the Hungry Barber tonight. We're gonna hear his heart, man, where it all started. So let's jump into it, bro. Ace Fader. Man, let's let people know, man, where did it all started? Where did this dream started from?
Oh man, it was I can't even really say it was a dream at first, man. I was 10 years old when I started cutting hair. You mess around on your own
Okay.
hair and you want to do your shape ups, and then you start cutting my brother's hair and then my little cousin's hair, because when we used to go to the barber shop, man, it's like my uncle or my pops would take like 4 or 5 kids, like all the kids, the grandkids and nephews and stuff would take us to the shop,
Hmm.
and we in there all day. We in there all day. So I used to love the transformation that I would see of a whole, like of a grown man. You would see him get in a chair, right?
Hmm.
And he looked real rough and unkept. And then by the time he got out of the chair, like you see him get his hair cut down, you see his face start, you
Hmm.
see him get his beard cut off. And then as he's going through this transformation, you would kind of see him kind of come alive. You know what I mean?
Mm.
While they would be
Yes,
in
sir.
the chair. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I watched it as a kid, and then I will also watch the barber, and they working. You know what I mean? They doing their thing like effortlessly. It's almost like
Hmm.
watching like a musician play an instrument. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
as a kid, I would just see it, and I would love to see the confidence of the person when they got out of their chair. And it could
Hmm.
have been the haircut that changed them, or it could have been the conversation that they had with the barber. But when
Yes,
they
sir.
were not the same when they got up out of the chair. And so I used to love that
Hmm.
as a child. Um,
Okay.
so coming up doing that, man, like I had a pair of like red Conair clippers that my pops kept under the
Uh-huh.
sink, and he would use them, and
Hmm.
he adjusted them for he adjusted them for me so I could do the shape up with them same clippers as I was cutting hair. So I used to burn my little brothers up when they had scars because the clippers be hot fire. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
I done spent an hour doing your haircut. Now with them same hot blades, I'm gonna close it all the way down and do your shape up. So
Hmm.
eventually
Okay.
he wound up getting me a pair like the brown T edges and
Hmm.
whatnot, like the little joints. Um, he got those for me, and I was probably 15, 16 years old when
Hmm.
I Conair's down, and I never forget. Like he came home, because at this point I'm cutting my friends too now, right? I'm in high school, so it's like my little brother, cousins, brothers, and friends now. So he see that I'm taking to it. He taught me like the basics. Um,
Hmm.
he comes home and he gives me a pair of brand new Andis Masters, and he tells me he was like, these clippers was $90, and
Hmm.
you gonna pay me back cutting every hair. To this day, I never paid him for them clippers. I still got them. I still got them, but I never paid him
Right.
$90 for them.
So that $90 changed the
But
game for you.
if
You had them.
if you ask my yeah, bro, that and them T edges, I used to run them joints so high. I used to have to like wrap a bath cloth around them joints to finish up and get through it. But if you if you ask him to this day, he'll tell you that he never knew that I would take it to the level that I took it to. Um,
Wow.
he just kind of kept me out of trouble. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
kept me busy and gave me something to do. So from there, at this point, like I'm charging $3 in high school for haircuts. Um, I had a cousin, man. He used to just let me experiment on him. So I called myself trying to do a fade one day. He's sitting on the toilet in the bathroom. I'm cutting him, and I thought I had
Mm-hmm.
it down, but I didn't know how to skin fade. So mind you, we
Mm-hmm.
in high school, bruh. He goes, he gets out of the bathroom and goes to his room, and my other cousin and his friend were in there playing the game, and they got up and walked in his room and looked, and they immediately busted out laughing. I had gave him like the meanest soup bowl, bro. Could not get that thing like out. So my pops taught me how to do like regular brush cuts,
Uh-huh.
but he didn't teach me to do like a skin fade. But I just went and I was like, all right, I figured it out. I just keep
Right.
moving the level. Yo, but my man, he went to school, he rocked it in school, and they fired him up for like a week. And he just held to it. He wouldn't tell nobody who cut his hair though. He wouldn't tell us, so he saved me, and that's my man to this day.
Okay.
But that feeling that I had of that feeling I had of them laughing at the cut, as soon as they seen it, I was like, yo, I don't ever want to have that feeling again. Like you'll never be able to do that to me again. So
Mm.
um, I just kind of I dug in. I started digging in, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna be good at this. So I got to the point where I was pretty decent at it, and it came time for me to go to college, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's time for me to go to college, and I come up with this master plan that I present to my parents, and I tell them I was like, yo, if y'all just let me stay out of college for a semester, so when I graduate high school, I just go straight into barber school and I get my license. After I get my license, I'll go to college,
Mm-hmm.
and from there, y'all won't ever have to give me any money to cut. I was like, I'll cut. Y'all don't worry about giving me no money. I'll be fine. So
Mm-hmm.
parents being who they are, they know their children, right?
Right.
So both of my parents knew exactly who I was, and they both told me absolutely not. It was like, as soon as you start making that money, you'll never go to school. And I tell you right now, like I had no intentions on going to college. I let me go get my barber's license if they want to. It's a wrap. Like I'm never going. So um, my pops told me he was like, graduate college, you graduate college, you could do whatever you want to do. I don't care. Like I let you choose. So
Mm-hmm.
I got to college. I ended up going to UNC Wilmington. I transferred Wilmington to North Carolina A&T, and then I transferred back from A&T to UNCW.
Okay.
Down there. I pretty much built up my reputation at UNCW as the guy who cut hair. Um,
Okay.
that was how everybody knew me. Like I cut hair and I threw parties. So now I'm the man in school when it comes to cutting hair and all
Mm-hmm.
of that. So the big head starts to come, and I'm
Right.
thinking that I'm super dope. I'm thinking I'm nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's fast forward. I graduate. Um, I'm cutting hair. All of this after school. My pops hits me. He's like, "Hey, you got to do something where you can get some benefits or whatever. Like, you can't just keep moving. What you gonna do if you get sick?"
Mm-hmm.
So, long story short, I ended up getting a government job. So I get a
Okay.
government job, kind of put cutting to the side for a little bit. I moved back home. I'm working. That's when I found I was like, yo, I gotta go get my license. I've been
Mm-hmm.
bootlegging for a long time. I need to go get my license. At this point, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like 22 years old. Um,
Okay.
I get on Google and I found Altitude Barber Academy in
Mm.
Greenfield, and I met Mr. Rodney.
Okay.
So I go in, I talk to him. He tell me what the deposit is gonna be. I walk
Mm-hmm.
out, write a check, come back and handle the check. He knew I was serious. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and from there, it was kind of the rest was history. Like, shout out to Mr. Rodney, man. He held me down because it was tough with me. I was working 12-hour shifts for and I was at Greenville, and so that means I'm going to Cherry Point to the military
Hmm.
base, and I'm driving all the way to Greenville. And they're not
Wow.
beside each other for barber school.
Wow.
But he understood. He worked with me, man. So Mr. Rodney, that's always gonna be my guy. Anything he need, he know. All he got to do is ask, and I'm there. I got.
Yes.
So from there, I transfer. I leave. I get all my hours in North Carolina, but I don't
Hmm.
take my state board exam down there because I transfer to right. So
Hmm.
I'm working up here again. I kind of put barbering to the side, right? And my lady at the time, she tells me this is like 2013, January 2013. She tells me uh, that she's pregnant. We're having a baby.
Okay.
So in my mind, like I saw everything flash in front
Mm.
of me. I was like, yo, I'm
Yes,
so
sir.
prepared to
Hmm.
take care of. I barely take care of myself. So to take care of a child and
Hmm.
my lady, I was like, yo, this is finna be crazy.
Hmm.
2 weeks later, I find a uh, I find a barbershop and I go into the barbershop 2 weeks later. It's a commission shop.
Okay.
Spanish guy owns it. It was in Springfield, Virginia. Uh,
Okay.
so mind you, I'm thinking I'm the man. 'Cause I
Hmm.
come from school where
Yeah.
like
Uh-huh.
my door was revolving. You know what
Hmm.
I mean?
Hmm.
I get into this shop, man. Got like 10, it's like six barbers in there. The
Okay.
owner, I think he's I think he might have been Peruvian. I think Jason was Peruvian. And then you had Corey, who was a white guy. Um, then you had John, was a black guy. And
Okay.
then there was young boy Haman. Haman was like 18. He was in as well. Um, and I was in there, and there was a couple other barbers came and went. I'm thinking I'm the man. All textures are coming through here. This is the
Hmm.
most diverse barbershop I've ever seen, even to this shop.
Oh,
This
wow.
we're
Wow.
right outside of like I want to say Fort Belvoir.
Okay.
Uh, these dudes, I saw them, bro. They cut me under the table.
Come on,
They cut
man.
me under the table, and like I can openly admit that now,
Hmm.
being where I am. But they cut me under the table, like to the point where I used to go sit on the counter in between the two Spanish barbers and watch them
Hmm.
cut and try to learn what they were doing.
Wow.
It took me a little while. I finally picked it up. But
Hmm.
what I picked up from there is there's a difference in the level of a part-time barber and the
Hmm.
level of a full-time barber. So when you're a full-time barber and you're cutting hair all day, you have to develop a system that's going to be able to get you through your cuts.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you can't. What I was doing is trying to figure out every single cut, like every customized. I had no system
Hmm.
whatsoever. So I'm very thankful for that part of my barber career
Hmm.
because it humbled me. It brought me way back down to ground level, made me dig in again because I'm super competitive. So
Hmm.
I don't ever want to be the weakest link wherever I'm at.
Right.
And I started digging in, man, and I kind of I kind of spoke it into existence to where I am now. When I was in that
Okay.
shop because the shop price was like $12 haircut. I would I would only go $12 out of that haircut. Now, mind you,
Mm.
I got a kid coming in 9 months, so I was going to my government job at 30 in the morning and off at 12:30. And I was in the shop by 1 o'clock, and I was getting off at 8 out of the shop, and I was doing that like 6 to 7 days a week um,
Hmm.
for the entire time the entire country.
Uh,
So that's the Hungry Barber developed
mhm.
introduction into the game. That brought you all the way from like 1990 all the way up to 2013.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So man, through that time you did some work, bro. You seen a lot of things, it taught you a lot of things, and it stirred that passion up. You know, that's how you say the hunger came. Okay, so once you got the hunger, you already know you had a child coming and everything.
Yeah,
So how you know? Well, so you were already in the VA area then? That what you were saying that we started that we use really touch down there and start building what you have today.
yeah, man. In 2013, in that Springfield, like Northern Virginia area,
Hmm.
that's kind of where all like it became serious for me at
Okay.
that point in that area. Um, and, and I always had this insecurity about cutting straight hair, know how to
Hmm.
straight hair. So
Hmm.
being in that shop, I had to learn a little bit. And while I was there, I used to duck straight haircuts when people would come in, and I was ducking those haircuts because I'll never forget. Like the very first one I did was like this little boy, he was like 7 years
Hmm.
old, bro. He cried on me in his chair, in my chair. He cried. He was last client, and he cried on me in the
Hmm.
chair. And I was like, yo, I messed this little boy hair to the point where he cried on me. I think his birthday was like the next day. So he had
Wow.
like I missed his haircut. So I know he had like the worst like seventh or eighth birthday, bro. So
Hmm.
again, there was one of those things where, all right, I
Yeah.
don't want to feel like this and I don't want this anymore. So
Hmm.
I
So
ducked, I
when did that
haircuts,
time started?
and I say that again.
You're breaking up a little bit. I was saying, so after that, you were ducking the cuts. So when did the time come to like, I'm tired of this, I ain't ducking no more? When did you jump out there from there?
Um, a few months later, like I started taking some straight haircut. I
Hmm.
was never pleased with how they was coming out because I didn't know what I was doing.
Hmm.
And I'm not the type that I'm not going to just copy answers off the test. Like I need to know why this answer is A.
Hmm.
So I was never comfortable with it. It wasn't until, bro, that didn't come until probably like another 4 or 5 years later when I linked up with my man Jared from his group in DC. And
Okay.
you talking about somebody that's ill with the shears? Like
Hmm.
Jared is out of I think he's from Philly, right?
Okay.
And Jared can jump in both lanes. Like he can cut coarse hair, curly hair, and he mean with the shears. So he owns a shop
Okay.
on Capitol Hill called
Okay.
his groom, and he educates. He used for American Crew. He was a American Crew educator.
Okay.
I think he's won a couple competitions. I think he's been published in some magazines. Like he's like that with shears. So I went and started taking some courses from him. Um, and I didn't get to finish because I just had so much on my plate and I had other like responsibilities going on. But I was able to
Hmm.
attain enough of the basics to where I can work myself through the cut now, and I can get it to come out how I want it to come out. And I still have my mannequin at the house, and I'll put some time in with that just to stay a little sharp. But I'm not done with that chapter, so I think I'm gonna have some
Okay.
time coming up here later on the second half of the year, and y'all will see me start going live and posting videos with Jared again, um, because that weakness is gonna become my strength, um,
Mm.
and we're gonna change the game a little bit.
Okay. Okay. So I, with all that behind it, man, I done noticed, like I've been following you for a while, bro. When I see you start getting into the inventions and inventing, doing your own barber blades and everything, how that come about? What made you want to start, doing the blades and everything with your products?
Um, um, I I been my pops taught me how to blades when I was young. Like that, he changed my blades on that big set of clips to be able to shape up with it. And whenever I
Mm-hmm.
would get T outliners, he would show me how to adjust them. Um, in 2013, when I was in the Spanish spot, I used to I would adjust mine and I would adjust some of my coworkers their blades. But it really changed for me 2015 um, when I got into the shop in DC. And I was in there
Mm-hmm.
with iCut Pro, with Todd, Miranda, with Jose, with She's the Bar, Fee, like all of us was in the shop together. Um, and when you have everybody like that in the shop together and everybody's kind of doing their thing, like that's when you start to take more stuff seriously because you'll see somebody who's just like you and you'll see stuff that you have been doing and you be like, okay, this is the
Mm-hmm.
confirmation. Like they literally just they took it and they kept going. They
Mm-hmm.
kept going with it for wherever they kept going. I had a bad habit of
Kept
stuff
going.
and I wouldn't finish. I wouldn't push it forward because I'm thinking self-taught when it comes to cutting hair. I'm self-taught, so
Mm-hmm.
I was always thinking that I wasn't as good as someone who went to school, and I didn't have as much knowledge as someone who was uh, taught by other people. But
Mm-hmm.
that all changed quick. That quickly changed once I saw like these indicators and what they was doing. I was like, okay, got it. And really just I started pushing forward. Um, and I was a
Okay.
little bit of a rebel because being in shops, shop owners they like to get a piece of everything. So knocking shop owners by any means do, but this was a telltale sign that I'm not really meant for anybody. Um, because
Okay.
what would happen is I had clients and I would start selling like my own stuff to my clients, and then the shop owners would be like, "Nah, I need you to sell my stuff. You get like a 15% commission of that, so forth and so on." And so what happened is I was like, I got my own stuff that I'm doing, not what you got going on, but this is my client.
Right.
My client trusts me, so I can't
Mm-hmm.
sell them something that they can walk to the store next door and get it for half the price. Like I was like, my name means more than that. So from there, I was like, all right, I won't sell my stuff out of the shop, and I just created the website hungrybarber.com. Like
Mm-hmm.
it, it came, the name came to. I was like, I do the website. We'll start out with my
Okay.
modified stuff that I'm doing, and we went from there, and it just started going.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I don't knock
Okay.
any shop owners. I just know for me what I
So I
had
remember
going
one.
on
I'm
at
gonna
it.
go back to Miss Rodden had you come to school. I think you were doing with it. Mhm. Right. So I the time that you came to the shop, Mr. Rodden sent you, came to talk to everybody, man. And I would know that, bro. 'Cause I knew when I saw that material, that stopped me, and it wasn't.
Oh, I can't hear you. You're getting a little broken up and distorted.
My bad on that. Can you hear me now clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you clear now. Go ahead.
All right, okay. All right, I said there was a time Mr. Rodney had invited you to the store. You spoke. There was a passion like never before. You know what I'm saying? I never seen somebody share the clear behind what they do. So I want to know what was that day when you spoke like that, man. I knew that you would, it was beyond the hunger. Then, like, it was like, what was that day, man?
Man, I try not to get emotional when I talk about it now, man, but that was I had never put my all into something um like I did with barbering. And the reason the why that I had was because of my family. I had always been like
Mm,
a bootlegger. Like I was always bootlegging. I had never tried to get my license. I just went to school and I had the hours, but I didn't go try to get the license. It wasn't until my she's my wife now told me that she was having a baby, and then at that it's like
mhm,
I was like I don't get to play around with this anymore. Like it's either all or nothing. You know what I mean? Like
mhm,
my family's security is based on this because yeah, I had the government job, but that's not daycare high. You know what I mean?
mhm,
Daycare is high. There's gonna be a lot of other stuff that's needed and whatnot, and I don't ever want to be in a position where I have to say like I can't do it or I don't have. So that passion that y'all saw me speak from was it came from the I gotta do this. Like I'm not gonna lose. I'm not gonna be outworked. I'm not gonna fail at this. Like this is it's gotta work. You know what I mean?
mhm,
And that's where that piece came from. And it was the emotion comes from all the sacrifices, like those long 16-hour days, like pretty much everything that I missed out on. Like I pretty much missed out on my wife's first pregnancy. Um,
mhm,
she kind of went through that by herself. Not kind of, she did go through that by herself because I worked
mhm.
so much because I was just so worried about not being able to provide. Because as a man, this like
Yeah.
we gotta we're about providing. If we can't provide, then we feel less than. You know what I mean? So
Yes, sir.
that's where all of
Mm-hmm.
that passion. That's where all of that passion came from, man. It's just all the sacrifices that was made to get to that point where y'all saw me that day. Um, that was that was the last
Yes,
time I
sir.
really told that story, man, because that story does get me emotional even to this day because of everything that it took,
Wow.
everything that I had to sacrifice to get there.
Wow. Mm-hmm. I applaud you, bro. From that day, man, and I've been following you ever since. You've been going straight up there. You've been straight up, and I applaud you, bro. And so, in the hair industry right now, I know you are there in the VA. So, what's your plans? What you trying to do in the near future? What's some of your short term goals and your long term goals? If you don't mind sharing.
Um, so short term goals is to just stay on top of my schedule, man. I'm trying to kind of take some stuff off of my plate and be more family oriented and reprioritize
Mm-hmm.
my time. Because for so long I made I made like cutting hair and like my goals and ambitions like number one. So now it's my son is about to be 8, my daughter's about to be 4. Um, I don't cut on Saturdays anymore. I don't know if I ever go back to cutting on Saturdays anymore, man. It's just I they enjoy me being home. They're at they're at that age where they remember stuff now. So my priority is making sure the relationship with my family is solid and they remember that time with daddy when they was young, and don't remember me working all the time. Like I don't want them to remember me like, oh, daddy's always at work, he's always gone, he's always too tired to play with me. Like, so that's where that's where my priorities are with that. Long-term goals, uh, I've been working on this thing called Hungry Barber University, man. I kind of got a beta tester squad going right now, working out some kinks. Uh, I would love to, long-term goals, I'm going to get that kicked off. Um, and we're going to go into like
Okay.
full mentorship, like for advanced training with the barbers. Um,
Okay.
we're going to take them from just starting, and we're going to bring them all the way up to like pro level. You know what I mean? I got a mentee right now, Trade A Barber, Triple Vision. I've been working with him for about a year, and he came to me on the humble and was like, "Man, I want to do this." He was in
Okay.
barber school. He actually finishes up barber school this week, um, and I've been working with him for about a year, and I just literally just poured into him
Okay.
everything that I've learned over the last 26 years. I poured it into him over the last year, and
Mm.
and
Wow.
we took him from getting lost in the middle of his cuts and not really knowing what to do, to the point where he can tell you how to develop a system that's going to work. He can tell you what blade is going to blend into what. Like, he can just look at it and tell you, like. So that kind of touched me because he actually shared the same passion and love for the craft that I did. So mentoring him was a pleasure. But I also know that it's not going to be like that with everybody, and I can say that because
That's so.
I've extended
Mm-hmm.
invites to people
Mm-hmm.
to come do the Barber University, and they start and then they don't follow through and they don't finish, or they say they want to do it, and then when I give them tasks to do, they don't do the task. So it kind of like they separate themselves, you know. I want because I'm not finna chase anybody and try to make them learn how to cut. So
Mm-hmm.
anybody who's serious about it, and they really want to go to that next level because they want to be great, then I'm all about helping those people out. And that's exactly how it was with Trey. Um, he loved it. He listens, and he made the necessary adjustments to get him to where he's at now, and we're nowhere near done with him. Um, he's gonna he's gonna be the man in that RDU in Raleigh, in that Raleigh Durham area. He's gonna be the man out there by the time we finish doing what we're doing.
Okay. And that's why I created this podcast, bro. I would change lives. Just like you did, you changed that man forever. Shout out to Trey Mason Hill. There was a comment. He said, "Come on at the university." Shout out to Trey in the comments and everything. So that's what it's all about, changing lives. And that's big. That's big. When you be able to give back somebody, you still listen to them. To see that develop where he go at when he come out on that journey. So, and we're gonna do a little difference over the years in the hair industry. What's some of the moments that you remember that changed you, that to you that you forget on this journey to yet to this day? There's not two great moments.
All right. You were breaking up a little bit, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, I heard you say what are two great moments that changed my life in the hair industry through my experience. Is that what you asked?
Yeah. Yes.
All right, man. Um, in the industry, I don't even. I don't know if I can pick just two, man, because I really love connecting with my clients,
Mhm.
and really talking to them and talking to my clients. So you know what I do. So I'm not big. I wasn't big on cutting kids, but I have these like 3 or 4 high school kids that I've been cutting, and I've cut them from high school to them being in college to them being men now. And I remember having them come through and sit in my chair and me cutting their hair. I really just used to pour into them. And I would pour into
Mhm.
all of them individually, just through my experiences and what I went through when I was in high school and college, after college, what to look for, talking to them about women, uh, things of that nature, really telling them the right things and the right way, and being like that mentor to them. One of them, he went to Morehouse. He's back in DC now. He's got internships coming this summer. My man G, shout out to him. My man Brandon, he went out to the
Mhm.
mountains in Maryland, went to college, came back. Now he's working. Um, my man Sabe, he went out to, I think, Maryland Eastern Shore, went to college. He came back. He's back in the city, and they still actually come through the shop now, man. So that really touched me. That now, like 5, 6 years later, they'll still talk about things that we talked about in the chair and how it helped them when they went off and they went into schools. Like, yo, I remember you told me about. G always say, you told me about you picked the
Mhm.
girl in the pajamas, not the girl with the heels on, going to class. So I had this thing where I told him, I was like, yo, you going to the HBCU? I was like, it's gonna be all about fashion, flash, showy. I said, but if you want a chick that's got a good head on her shoulders and she focused, then you go after the girl that's got the pajamas on. The girl that goes to class in her pajamas and not going to class in her heels and full
Mhm.
face makeup and all that stuff, that's the one who's securing herself. She's focused and she's there for a reason, and she don't care about what anybody else say or think about her. And so I never forget, he came home to visit one day, and I'm cutting his hair and I'm asking him how everything's going. And he was like, yo, I meant to tell you, I got the girl in the pajamas.
Mhm.
And it was real. Like, he's still with her to this day, the girl in the pajamas. So that stood out to him the most of everything that I told him. And he's like, you was dead on with that one. I saw everything that you said that I was gonna see. And when I started seeing it, I really had to like lock in, because you could easily get distracted at the HBCU. So that was, I would probably say I'll let that count as my two, but that was probably one of the biggest things when I really realized there that, like, yo, you can really minister to the
Mhm.
people who you have in your chair, and give them advice that they're going to take in life, and apply it. So I take my job seriously as I'm barbering, and when I'm ministering and talking to these people. Um, and I try to give them unbiased, unemotional guidance. And I always talk from things that I've been through and my experiences, and not anything that I just think, you know.
Mhm.
And feel free to cut me
Awesome.
off too, man, because I get a
Awesome,
little
man.
long winded.
Appreciate that, man. Name that called hard action. His name top three. This one's your. All
I can't hear you breaking up.
right, you good? All right, so little thing called Hungry Barber 3 man. Everything has been good. We can get it done. We can get it done.
You break. I can't hear what you were
Hear me
saying. You
now?
breaking up a little bit.
All right. How about now? Am I clear a little bit more better?
Yeah, I got you. I got you. I can hear you now.
All right. All right. I have a little session. Okay. I have a session with Barber. So three things. I just want to share it. So the family name. Family.
Say it again.
Name three things. Barber. It means so the first be family.
I'm having it like you're going in and out, and I don't know if it's yours or if it's mine, but it's going in and out, and I can't hardly.
Okay.
Can you hear me clearly?
I apologize. But we trying to how about that net clearly. Yeah, nice. So I don't know who watching, but but Ace, we appreciate you man through and happening for me tonight. Showing people the hunger bar with the passion of art, doing and lives. I appreciate that.
Not for sure, man. Most definitely, and I can hear you now. I think we're caught up now.
All right, how about now? Good. Can you hear me
Yeah,
clearly?
yeah, we good. I can hear you.
All right. I'll just appreciate you coming through, man. I wanted to do the little barber, my connection just breaking up. But I had three things I will say to you. What did it mean to you? The first one's family.
Oh, family is everything, man. Family is everything. That's the reason. That's the reason why I do what I do. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think once you, one of the biggest pieces of growth for me was once you have a family and you really understand what it is to have a family as a man, you change and you realize that nothing is about you anymore. And that was a big paradigm shift for me because like I was super selfish. I'm a middle child, uh, and I've just always been super competitive, and it was about me. Like, how can I get better? How can I do this? How can I do that? And it wasn't a whole lot of what can I do for someone else. And then when you have a family, when you go through those trials and tribulations and those growing pains, you realize nothing is about you anymore, and everything is about family. So family is to me is everything. That's the reason for everything that you do.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I totally agree. That's it, man. All right. The second thing would be future. When I say future.
Man, when you say future, it's in God's hands, man. Like we make plans and they say
Mm-hmm.
God laughs. So I think for me, man, when it comes to future, is just staying true to who you are and always keep an open mind because sometimes you might have to take a quick turn and turn down another street and you might not be able to go down the road that you thought you were supposed to be going down. There's
Mm-hmm.
lessons for you to learn in every situation. So you can't get to the future if you can't learn, take from what you're doing today. So for me, future is just about being open minded and trusting God in the process that you're going through and that you'll be all right no matter what.
Also, I love that, bro. Love that. And the last thing I would say to that young barber in barber school or ready to take this journey serious, what would you tell them from ace to fade of the Hungry Barber? What you would tell them? What's the main thing you would tell them?
Put that work in, man. Rip off all that cool, take away the cool stuff, all that nonchalant, you don't care. Take all of that stuff off. Go find you a mentor, be humble, and pay
Mm.
attention. Mentorship
Oh.
is everything. Mentorship is everything, man. Um, Listening will keep you out of a lot of trouble, and listening will get you into places that you probably wouldn't been able to get into had you tried to do some stuff yourself. Just listen to the people that's been there, and listen to the people that's got your best interests at heart, and dig in and put that work in because for real, barbering is a sport. It's like a sport. If you look at it like football, basketball, anything else, you're not going to get better if the only time you practice is at practice. It's the hours that you put in outside of the shop, beating on your craft, working on your barber eye development, your fade placement, working on your shade cups, working on your designs, like all of this stuff that you put in outside of the shop, it will
Mm-hmm.
come full circle when you actually get in the shop. So you can't just only put the time in when you in barber school. That's you're gonna be mediocre. You're gonna be the mediocre or the weak barber. Even the barber that's super talented, you gotta put that work in because you think you the man right now, but there's always somebody better. There's somebody younger and better and hungrier than you.
Hmm. Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate
I'm
that.
just I'm just now able to look. I'm just now able to see these chats, and I see Mr. Rodney in here, man. That's my guy. I had a funny story. When I was a student at altitude, so I'm super competitive, right? So Mr.
Uh-huh.
Rodney will have his clients come in, right? And if he
Uh-huh.
couldn't cut them, then they would come to me. And so
Right.
I used to try to outcut Mr. Rodney as the student on his own client. And so I'm secretly competing against Mr. Rodney, and it's all love.
Right.
It was
Right.
never a I thought I was better. It was, if Mr. Rodney is the instructor and he the coldest thing in Eastern North Carolina, then yo, I'm getting ready to go straight up against that client. Like his client sit down and I'd be trying to like lace his client. So when they come back, I want them to come to me. I don't want them to go back to
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Rodney. But it was all love, man. It was friendly competition,
Yes,
but
sir.
that's how I am when I get around somebody that I think is dope. And I'm sure Mr. Rodney,
Mm-hmm.
but I love my time at Altitude Academy, man, and all love pour into his students and get back to Mr. Rodney, man. He was fun. and he also got his point across to make sure everybody came out better than when they came in.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mr. Ronnie Bullet. Yes, sir. But bro, I thank you, man, for coming through on tonight, Barber Chain Live podcast. I definitely will have you in the future, man. You know, 'cause I already know you about to do some great things out there. And, you know, anytime, man, I'm in the up there in the DMV area, I will check you out, bro. So,
Man,
you
come on
know,
through,
any of the
man.
last remarks you
I'm
want to
in
say, bro?
DC. Nah, man, I
Okay.
definitely
That most
appreciate you.
definitely.
I appreciate you. Come on through anytime, anytime you want. I'm in Northeast DC off of Rhode Island. We in the Phoenix Salon Suites. I'm in the spot with my man Jose Straight Razor, another dope barber out of the DMV. Um, like, subscribe, share. Hit Trade A Barber for a shirt from overlooked to overbooked.
Okay.
This is a shirt that he
Mm,
created, man. I love it. Support it. Go holler at him. And anytime you want, man, bring me on. I got plenty of stories, plenty of stuff we could talk about, man. I could do this all day. I like this. I like your platform, man. So anytime, man, just reach out,
appreciate
man, and we could chop it up. We talk for the people.
it. I appreciate I appreciate that. So that's Ace Fader. All of y'all barbers out there that need blades and everything, go check them out. Ace Fader on IG. Man, you know, life will be changed. So next time, catch us next Monday at the same time to hear the heart of a barber.